Thank you so much for coming out early in the morning. We're expecting about at least 80 more of you early morning people. So hopefully people will begin to flow in. But I didn't want us to get too backed up in terms of our time today. I wanted us to try to stay on schedule as best as possible and to value the time that you all have given us today and the fact that you're here on time. So I want to start by giving some opening comments. By the way, I'm Rhonda Williams. I'm the founder and director of the Social Justice Institute. I want to again welcome you all here. We have some Social Justice Institute leadership team members here. We have some planning team members here today, and I want to give them a round of applause because it's because of them that we've been able to really pull this together and pull it off. So for those of you who came last night, you heard me give a fairly brief but lengthy, shall I say, is that an oxymoron, spiel about the Social Justice Institute. I will do just a teeny bit of that today, but not a lot. I really want to kind of go through the day just so you all have a sense of how we're going to proceed. I want to lead you all to our website, case.edu/socialjustice, and invite you to troll our website and really learn what we're doing here at Case Western Reserve University. We actually put our public face on in fall of 2010. We had our first think tank then, which launched the Institute. It focused on social justice, race, and profiling. We had sessions on immigration, criminal injustice, from redlining to housing foreclosure. We had John A. Powell here. We had Bernice Johnson Reagan here. We always try to include a piece of art, performance talk into the work that we do because it's really important to think about both the creative and the intellectual and how they come together, the heart, the mind, the brain, as Matha said last night, and when we do this work and how we feed our spirits. So we try to do a little bit of that with our programming and try to make sure we weave that in. We also have done other public convenings. I know I just saw Kim Foreman walk in. She's been one of our long-term partners with Environmental Health Watch. I feel like I'm going poop, 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 poop in the mic. But with Environmental Health Watch, and actually she's a former student of mine. I claim her. And one day she saw me on the street and she walked up to me. I can tell a story, Kim, and she said, you know, Dr. Rhonda, I didn't know all of that stuff you were talking about in class all the time. I didn't know what that all meant and why we were going the ways we were going in terms of some of the deep, detailed analysis, but now I get it. And I have to tell you that, woo, I just smiled and said, oh my goodness, maybe I can stay in the academy. So Kim has been working with us on our race, food, and justice work. This will be the fourth year next year, April 4th and 5th, 2014, that we will be doing something together as partners with her and Red All Green Partnership. We're doing all kinds of convenings, and so I invite you to go to the website to look at those. We're also developing social justice curriculum here at the university, a minor program with the hopes of actually establishing a major and doing some graduate and professional courses as well. I'll actually talk a little bit more about that in the first session when we have the Indie Academy session. The final thing that we're doing in terms of how we organize our work is that we're doing community bridge building and research, and we have launched our Voicing in Action project, which we actually launched in East Cleveland, a neighboring municipality, where we really focus on documenting and empowering oral life narratives of people who are past and present residents of EC, with the idea of actually talking about the ways in which people's experiences and voices really matter and make a difference, not only in terms of how we understand the past and the present, but where we imagine we can go in the future, and that has to have, as a core element of it, a resident-driven, citizen-driven perspective. So that's the work of the Institute. I want to thank our sponsors. You always got to thank your sponsors that made this event possible. The ACLU of Ohio, District 7, Cuyahoga County Councilwoman Yvonne Conwell, Kent State University's Pan-African Studies Department, Merle Johnson, who actually does a radio show on WRUW, it's all about justice, Vincent Holland, the Ohio Alliance to End Sexual Violence, the City of Cleveland Office of Sustainability, and here at Case Western Reserve University, we have support from the Baker North Center for the Humanities, the Center for Community Partnerships, the Office of Inclusion, Diversity, and Equal Opportunity, the Office of Multicultural Affairs, and the President Advisory Council on Minorities. We also have some special thanks in the program, so I'm going to point you to the program for our special thanks there. Thank you everyone who actually contributed their time and talent to the event. You will see some folks walking around with T-shirt on. They are planning team members, actually commemorating the event, Educating for Struggle. And one of the things we like to say is the T-shirt, actually, like the program, features original artwork by young local artist Martinez, who I hope actually is able to come sometime during the session so that I could, or during the day so that I could introduce him. He did fabulous work for us. We just gave him the idea. Here's the theme: Educating for Struggle, Academy, Prisons, Streets, Schools, do something with it. And he came up with this beautiful piece of artwork. And so we have that on T-shirts. If you would like to support the Social Justice Institute, you can see one of the persons who are wearing the T-shirts and order one for yourself. So please consider that as well for us. So today we are starting with our first session. Will be across the hall. This is how it's going to work. This room right here is going to be for what we're doing now, opening comments. We'll be back here for lunch, and then we'll be here for the closing event. Jasiri X is going to do a performance talk. We're also going to have voices of the incarcerated, voices of children of the incarcerated. We're going to have a young man here who is going to share his experience before Jasiri X does his performance talk. And so it's going to be a really awesome and enlightening and heartfelt moment. So I invite you to stay throughout the entire day. But those will be the events that will be in here. We will continue to keep set up the coffee, the danishes, the fruit juices, and the water and whatnot so that you can refresh yourself. Our sessions, our plenary sessions, will actually be in 1914 Lounge, which is, if you go out this door straight across, that's where the first session will be on educating for struggle in the academy. The second one will be upstairs in the Spartan Room. So the Spartan Room is one floor up, in the same exact location as 1914, but one floor up. And so those will be our plenary session rooms. So we'll go back and forth between those. There's one thing I wanted to do. You know what? I'm going to have to do like a mad dash, because I have to read this poem. I wanted to close with a poem to get us started and energized, but the poem is in my purse. Hey, Allison, can you bring my orange bag from the room? The poem is in the book in my purse, and I want to read it. So, but is everything, oh, one other thing I wanted to talk about. So this gives me a moment because I almost forgot. During lunch, we will be imbibing food and just being able to kind of settle down a little bit. But one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to have questions at every table. And everybody will have the same questions. And we really want to folks to talk and have conversation about 3 questions. They'll be on the table, and we're going to have facilitators at the table. Some tables actually will have designated facilitators. Other tables, you will have to choose your facilitator. Some tables will have designated recorders. Others, you will have to choose your recorders so that we can, yes, like which book, right? Okay. You will actually choose your recorders. And the idea is to really have conversation around these questions that will not only spark, I think, interesting dialogue around what is social justice, what are we doing, how do we educate for struggle, like what does that mean, how do we know what content we need to know about what issue, what is that content, what are the issues, what are the pressing concerns, and then what is the process that we can go through, what are the models, what are the strategies, what are the tactics, what are we all doing, how can we share this work so that it doesn't become isolated and siloed, and we're not sharing the tools that we could share to actually move forward some agenda. And so really that's what the lunch conversation is going to be about. That will also help us at the Institute figure out where we need to go in terms of, or where we could go in terms of some of the future programming that we're going to do, both in terms of issues and content, but also just in terms of potential training and workshops and those kinds of things that the community is interested in. So that's how the lunch will work. Okay, so let me finish up by offering up a poem to you and then getting us started for our first session. Does that sound good, everybody? Everybody good this morning? Because we work on, you know, reciprocity and call and response. So everybody's good, right? I don't have to get anybody up to do jumping jacks like I do in my class. I say, get up, y'all, and do some jumping jacks if y'all can't talk to me. Okay, so this poem is from a book called Mental Fight by Ben Okri. and it came out in 1999. And this is from his chapter 6. It's a poem, really, in book form. And this comes from his chapter 6, which is entitled, Hold On to Your Sanity. Yes. Oh, I can see. Thank you so much. Hold on to your sanity. Here it goes. At the end of powerful eras, and at the birth of new ones, strange spirits spew up in the world, in nature, in the heavens, from our minds. Turbulence rise from secret places and underworlds of history, from our guilt and denial, from our wickedness and silence, from the oppressed and the suppressed, from our conscience. Great cities and monstrous visions sound from humanity's forgotten oracles, visions of terminal horrors and eruptions. The force of new eras clashing with the old, like two seas with two contending powerful gods, unleash things strange to behold. Collapsing structures multiply superstitions and anomie, paranoia and mindless cults, conspiracy theories and supernatural terror, suicides and murders, wars and fears and panic, and wreak havoc on the world. And only those with substance, whose souls are earthed, whose eyes are clear, withstand it all. And they pay an awkward price for such clear-sightedness. They will be alone, but hopefully not as tragically alone as the noble family and Satyricon, who, unable to bear such sanity in the midst of universal insanity, elect for stoic suicide. So watch your minds, cling on to the soundest values. These are severely testing times ahead, more testing for the sane than for those perfectly in tune with erupting contemporary anomie. Thank you. So let's head on over to Ben O'Cree, Mental Fight. Let's head on over to our first session, shall we? Thank you so much, everyone.